Please remember to like the video and also consider subscribing.
Now the news. Over $58 billion has been added to the budget. The third supplementary budget was approved by the lower house yesterday. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark explained that the third estimates account for monies to be paid under the second year of the public sector compensation restructuring program.
Alongside the tabling of the interim fiscal policy paper, I'm also tabling the third supplementary estimates for the financial year 2023-2024 to reflect, among other things, the allocation of amounts to facilitate implementation of the second year of the compensation restructure for those ministries, departments and agencies not previously addressed in the second supplementary estimates. The public body's second supplementary estimates is also being tabled today. The third supplementary estimates provide for total expenditure of $1,094,387 million, which is an increase of $58.2 billion over the second supplementary estimates. And this will be financed by tax revenues, non-tax revenues, a grant.
He said over $700 billion will cover non-debt recurrent expenditure.
The third supplementary estimates provide for non-debt recurrent expenditure of $719.4 billion, inclusive of below-the-line amounts, which represent an increase of $39.1 billion over the second supplementary estimates. Capital expenditure of $66.6 billion, which represents a reduction of $8.7 billion on the prior allocation for capital programs, and debt service of $308 billion, comprised of interest payments of $170 billion, which represents an increase of $14.9 billion, and amortization payments of $138 billion, representing an increase of $12.9 billion.
The minister also indicated that $1.7 billion has been allocated for the upcoming local government election. The estimates will be before Parliament's Public Administration and Appropriations Committee today. Opposition Member of Parliament Philip Paulwell has indicated that prayers and faith are keeping him during this trying period. His 10-month-old daughter and the girl's mother have been missing for over 2 weeks. Upon his return to the lower house yesterday, Mr. Paulwell expressed appreciation to his colleagues and Jamaicans in general for their support.
Madam Speaker, I would not resume my seat without thanking colleagues, all the colleagues in this house who have reached out to me. In fact, not only the colleagues in the House, but staff members, indeed all of Jamaica, who have reached out to me over the last 2 weeks as I go through my own personal trial. And to really say, despite the fact that we are nowhere closer today than we were 2 weeks ago at finding my daughter, and her mother, but I do feel the prayers, and it's prayers from hundreds and hundreds of Jamaicans who have reached out. And, in these times, sometimes your own faith can be weakened, but I can assure you, Madam Speaker, and indeed this nation, my faith is stronger today than it has been. I want to thank the police for their work that they're doing, and to urge everybody to continue to pray so that they will be returned safely. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
MP Philip Paulwell. 27-year-old Toshna Patterson and her 10-month-old daughter Saria Paulwell have been missing since September 9. A $500,000 reward is being offered for information on their whereabouts. The Zones of Special Operations ZOZO initiative, particularly the social intervention aspect, will be expanded so more communities flagged as troubled can benefit. The ZOZO is active in 7 communities. Government has not yet indicated the new areas that will have ZOZOs. Speaking in Parliament yesterday, National Security Minister Dr. Horace Jang noted that 4 of the current ZOZO communities will soon transition to the build phase.
We have 7 zones. 3 are in the build phase. The other 4 are still in the hold phase. And I know that the Jamaica Social Investment Fund is looking at the required budget to expand that bill phase into other years, but not only into the other 4 zones, but based on the long-standing socio-economic survey by the Planning Institute of Jamaica and the continued review and by the continued monitoring by the police, Jamaica Consular Force of the violence data and other factors that affect the social environment in many communities, and having a good knowledge of the physical infrastructure of our challenged communities, we intend that this should be expanded to a number of areas across Jamaica. I think that the expansion is anxiously awaited by many of our members of Parliament who have such communities.
Dr. Chang explained that the government intends to implement social programs in over 30 communities, even if these are not yet deemed violent. The McCook Action Committee is moving forward with plans to get back lands used by the McCook Primary and Infant School and the Anglican Church in St. Catherine. The land is being developed for housing. Vice Chairman of the St. Catherine Parish Development Committee, Kessenard Gordon, says following a community meeting last Sunday, another meeting will be held next Sunday to finalize a course of action on how to get the land returned to the school and church. The plans include legal action. It's reported that the school community became aware of works being undertaken adjacent to the school just before the start of the new school year. The area that was used as a playing field and which was to facilitate further development of the school has been dug up for construction works. As a result, the children no longer have an area for physical education. The church says it has documents to show that the land was donated to it in the 1930s. Mr. Gordon wants the intervention of the government, including the Prime Minister and Education Ministry.